Hey, counselor friends. So I am going to show you a time tracking tool that you can use to help with your daily log requirements. This is a tool that we've shown before. It comes from a great site online, and we've just modified it over the years to match what we do in our setting as school counselors and matching ASCA's recommendations for time tracking. So we know that time tracking is an important tool for us to use to not only show what we do, but to show the impact of when we are able to do what we do or when we're not able to do what we do. Here's kind of the linkage to, well, why? Why is that? Because we've spent so much time on other things, or even just for that self-awareness piece of, I spend a little bit too much time on email or something of that nature. So when we are being asked to create our daily logs, this is a great way that you can marry the two, our time tracking and keeping track of what we're doing every day. And then as we go back to our schools, whenever that will be, this is a tool that you can continue and take with you and utilize in your program. So I'm going to walk you through the basics of the spreadsheet. I've designed it or modified it. I didn't design it. I've modified this so that it matches what we are currently doing in our district. So down at the bottom, you'll see there are all these numbers. These are the days of the week, and I've gone all the way through to the end of May. So basically to our last day of work. And, hopefully we won't need all of those, but in case we do, they're all there. So it starts with Monday. The students are back on March 30th. So you would keep one of these for every day that you are working with students. Or that we are on the clock, and the weekends are not on here and our days off are not on here either. So I've already taken those out. So how this works is I've left it with from 7 to 9 p.m. Now do not panic, you are not working those many hours. I know that many of you will be, but we want to track those mandatory 8 hours. I've left them here in case you do want to track if you're working before or after your contracted time. So this time here that's highlighted really doesn't mean that that's your time. You can modify that as you wish. So if I want it to be, if I'm working from 7:30 or 7 to 3, then I can highlight those areas. And right up here is the paint tool. This is where you can change your colors. So if you prefer, I would like to see blue are the active times that I'm working, then you can highlight there. And if you want to unhighlight, you just click on that paint can again and say no fill, and that will turn it to white. So that's just a good visual that I like to use to show that these are the hours that I am being paid for, and then everything else is just extra volunteer time. So I'm going to leave it just like this for now. Now every page is formatted the same. So if you chose that you are going to be working these times every single day, I'm going to show you a quick little trick. So have it highlighted, and down here at the bottom you'll see that March 30th is highlighted. So you're going to hold your shift key, keep holding it, and if you want to change that for every single day, see this little green arrow here, just click and it will take you all the way to the end, May 29th. So if you shift and click there, that will highlight all of them. So then you can do what you're going to do. I'm going to make it orange this time, and that will click off, click one sheet, press your shift key, and that will again turn, let's double check, that will turn every day to that orange color. And so because I have those yellows there, I'm going to do the same thing. So again, I'll click on the first one, March 30th. I'm going to highlight my 2 boxes that are still yellow. I'm going to hold my shift key down, press that green arrow, and go to May 29th. Then I can go up to my little paint can, click the little caret arrow, and say no fill. And that, if I click shift and just click one of the spreadsheets, that will turn all of those yellows off. So that's a way that you can put information across all spreadsheets. And that works if you're transferring data or information, or if you want to change some of these words, you can do that on one, and as long as you have the rest of them highlighted. Okay, so that's tip number 1. So let's go through what we would do. So if you're waking up 7 o'clock in the morning, you're getting on the clock, first thing that you're going to do is, start checking your email. So that would be part of your program management, right? You're making sure that things are working smoothly. Sometimes you can count those if you're emailing about specific students, then you might be able to count that as what you are doing for students, which is considered indirect services. You're doing something on behalf of the students, but not necessarily with the students, which would be in the direct. So wherever you count it, the only thing I would say is just make sure that you're consistent with where you're counting those emails. So your principal was busy last night, sending you lots of emails. They want you to check on something. So this morning I am going to spend some time checking my emails. So I'm going to put an X or a mark. It does not have to be an X. It can be a Y, it can be a P, it can be whatever you want it to be, and it's just a mark. It really doesn't matter. So I've spent, that hour working on emails. And what I'm going to do over here with the daily log is say that I was checking emails, responding, and I can say I was responding to admin, maybe I was responding to parents, and depending on how specific you've been instructed or how specific you would like to be, you might even want to say, I responded to 4 parents here. And so I've set this daily log column up so that no matter what you type in here, the box will automatically get bigger and bigger. And that way you don't have to maneuver around that. So if you are not spending an hour doing email, hopefully you're not, but you spent part of that time between 7:30 and 8 doing those emails, and then you shifted over, you were working on responding to a student's post on your group. So maybe you would put that, you've spent some time there. It does not matter how many X's or marks you have across the row. It will count those. So you can split your time. You can split your time 3 ways because these are in half-hour increments. So typically we wouldn't spend a whole half hour working on one thing. We might be working on multiple things. So you can again put that in that daily log, that what you were doing, responding to student on Schoology. I was prepping for my group lesson, and then I was also looking at retention information. So there we have, I have those 3 things happening going on, and there's my daily log. So it's written there of what I was doing during that time frame. So what's going to happen down here at the bottom, if you scroll down, you'll see that there's a chart here that's going to start automatically calculating your percentage of time. Now you'll see these numbers here are not reflecting the actual hours. So this says I've been working for 2 hours, and on here it's only 1 hour. So because we've split our time up, it's not going to reflect the actual hours, but it will at least monitor what percentage of your time, which is more important, what percentage of your time you are spending doing each of these tasks, which again, when we're back in our brick and mortar schools, will be what is an important tool that we can use. And then what happens off to the side on each of these pages, it will split it up into a graph. Isn't that cute? I have spent my time in a happy space. I see a happy smile there at me. So this is a way to quickly look and see how much time am I spending doing each of these tasks. So let me see, I've gotten really big here. There we go. So I am now going to, so that's my one day, and I'm going to click on the next day. I finished off my day, my chart is full, so I'm going to go on to the next day and put in some information. Oh, I'm not sure where I put that. So maybe it's Tuesday, and Tuesday I start right away. Again, I'm checking those emails. Maybe have a group scheduled right at 9 o'clock, and that's an hour or a half-hour group. But then after that, I'm responding to parents. So I've spent some time doing that, and I'll just fill in some boxes here just so we have some data. So again, you can see the graph and what that's looking like. So the daily log piece is what we've been asked to keep track of. So do whatever it is that your administrator has told you, but you're going to want to keep track of that. So if I'm going to click all the way over at the very bottom here, again, total. So what this tab is doing is calculating the time across all spreadsheets. So when we get to the end of this, or whenever you want to capture this information, this will keep a running log of how much time you've spent doing these different tasks. So again, when we're back in our brick and mortars, this is a great visual to do monthly or even weekly to see how much of my time have I been spending on doing these certain tasks. It can be pretty eye-opening when you do it that way. So if you were going to capture that maybe for the first week, then what you would do is click on that total for that first week, and you would be able to take a screenshot, or you can right-click and you can save this. You can save this chart. You can copy it and paste it into a document, and you can save that chart for you and just rename it as, you know, the first week information. So however you choose to use that data, that's there for you. But this is a great way that you can keep track of everything that you're doing every day, and you can easily send that in a file to your administrator, or post it wherever you would have it, and then from there you can keep track of your time. So sorry, I think I lost my thought right there. Too much clicking around and thinking and talking. So you have that information. I hope that this is helpful, that you are able to utilize. I have been tracking my own work that way, so I just keep this open right here on my doc. I have it posted in my OneDrive, so it's automatically saving all the time, but I keep it open right here. So when I start a new day, I just click and start a new day, and that way throughout the day I can go back and type in what I've been working on. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, or you can message me on Schoology as well. Good luck with your tracking.